Here we are on rotated pillars. More Testulous. Focusing on the missile side of things, ostensibly. There hasn't been a whole lot of that. I don't know, it's kind of been mixed. Mixed experiences. I think mines and rocket shuttles have just been doing a ton of work the past couple games. We've been trying to get missile Testulous in. And torpedoes as well, a little bit. Maybe not as much, but a little bit. They're around. So here we are, rotated pillars, 3K, 44, Team 1 ANS, Team 2 OSP, Team 1 Gamma Railgun, Bryn, Basil, and Pyro, all in voice comms together, Team 2 Mineros, Hunter, Internet Explorer, and Rymark. Also, all in voice comms together, they're OSP. We've got Bryn, of course, having his mind melted by rotated pillars, which happens with people who've been around for a really long time. And played a inordinate amount of Pillars games.
And the balance is completely different.
It can be, just because of where the natural routing for attacks is, it's just so different. Also got a lot of people here in voice. We got Carson, Corbeau, myself, of course, Dramus, and Subtle Hubris. Also, Cryptic is here, but is streaming and deafened, and kind of doing his own thing. That's fine. Alright, let's go through the ships. We got... Oh my. I have a feeling this game is going to go like a lot of the past ones. So, Rin, Gamma, and Pyro are all old-style players. And Mineris, Internet Explorer, and Rymark are very much new-style players. And by that I mean they play a lot of small ships. The newer players do, and the older players play a lot of big ships. So we got Mineris here with rocket shuttles. More rocket shuttles than you can take a stick at. We got Rymark here with 3 mine monitors and less rocket shuttles than you can shake a stick at. Fewer rocket shuttles. We get the grammar right there. We got Internet Explorer with the 250 Bulker, Revolver, a mine monitor, and slightly fewer than Rymark's volume of shuttles in shuttles. All with guns and mines. Oh man, toxic banned for toxic. Hunter, what is this? What is this? A double-sided Bulker, plasmas on one side, 250s on the other, and T20s all around. Okay. 250 broadside, 5 by, and 1 mass driver Bulker. What is this build? He's just got a little bit of everything. I'm particularly interested in this half 250, half plasma Bulker. Let's look at the insides before we get elsewhere. Earaches. No ammo elevators. Lots of earaches. So I guess dumps. Okay, this is actually kind of clever. So you use plasma as the main weapon to plasma things, and if you don't have a good target for plasma, you just spin the 250s into position. Since plasma is complete ass as a main weapon. Not a bad plan. Okay, let's go down, top down, over here. Basil and a very pink Solomon. DLS one on the backpack. BDL around. Some rebounds instead of stone walls. Probably a points issue. Shvai. What's the name of this? Ruby Rose. Okay. Sarissa Reigns. Support. Gamma. Roggen Vuge. Double fighting voxels. Double jam sprons. And 1 little scout. Pyro with rail destroyers with 250s on them. Very dangerous. Very powerful build. Vren. Axford. Couple gun support frigs with a little bit of jamming and a little bit of anti-jamming and a little bit of PD. The problem is, as we're seeing immediately, is that the OSP's like 60% scouts, and the ANS has 1 single tiny scout vessel, which is currently taking damage from T20s. So this is what I'm saying about new players versus old players. The older players have a tendency to old style, I should say, because Pyrope is, I mean, compared to a lot of people, relatively new. She's just been grinding games super hard and has gained experience that way, but still plays in that older style of small volume of very powerful ships. And while that is very effective and good to have one or two people on your team doing, you absolutely have to have cappers, especially in a stack versus stack game. And ANS just doesn't have any cap fleets or hardly any capping potential, and you can't just like face check the rockets and it go well at all. Gamma experiencing that right now. Probably actually going to be able to dodge a lot of these. Yeah, Gamma might actually be one of the exceptions. Gamma's sort of a terrifying voxel player. For those of you who don't know, Gamma's a fucking voxel menace. It's more or less all she plays, but god damn, really good at it. Eating the shuttles alive, because voxels fighting shuttles at medium range is just instant death for the shuttles. It's 250 out of the destroyers and out of the 450 out of the battleship, helping as well. Great. So I usually like to have the UI elements on where we can see people's names, so it's easier to tell whose ships is whose, and I can name the vessels, and that's kind of more immersive, at least I think. But of course we have mods everywhere. Complete ass. So we're gonna have to turn that off. Very sad. Rail's also helping on the shuttles, very nice. I think dragonflies in these might have double dragonfly? No way. Yeah, single dragonfly. And the rail destroyer is able to whip them back and forth very effectively. OSP has cap advantage. They've got 3 points. They've mined the fuck out of all of them. They've got sprint lines on Alpha, co-ops on Bravo, and more co-ops on Echo, and the back road into Echo, actually, as well. Gonna prevent any back capping action. Shuttles on patrol duty out of Mineris and all the weird angles of the map. God, OSP is just cocked and locked on these points. And even moving to cap Charlie, which Gamma's had to move off of to go and fight cover Delta. Heading back down to Charlie now, but might get flanked by Mineris' other rocket shuttle group coming under the Charlie Rock. Voxel's going to be very effective at dealing with the Brenda U. Parnas, which is a lovely name. The Black Cat eating a lot of RPF first, though, coming off of the Alpha. Going on the rest of the map? Not much. Both sides kind of getting positioned. Vryn going on... What is this? Going on a spiritual journey to the withdrawal line.
I'm just getting Gamma on the side as well.
What was that?
Hunter's getting Gamma on the side right now.
Ooh, good catch. Music was cranked up a little too loud to hear Dramus there, but I had to turn it down and heard him that second time. Hunter is kind of devouring Gamma over here with the 120 and 250 fire at fairly long range, at least for 250s. Well, this isn't as much damage as I was thinking it was. Let's support one of the jam shuttles a little beat up. Wavy Ferry's a little beat up. Doing a rotation action, armor shearing, nice. Still popping at rocket shuttles, busting them up. Really needs to be focusing on the bulkers, I think. Definitely wants to keep the rocket shuttles at range, so... Another rocket shuttle strike. And... Oh, man. A lot of dodging. Not enough dodging, though. Got 4 lands on top of that vessel there. 250's covering Charlie very effectively. I bully Gamma back off the point. She absolutely can't push this. And unfortunately, most of her team is elsewhere. They're over making a move for Alpha and Echo, which is heavily mined off. Although the Rail's actually able to get a little fire down the field. Put some rounds into these shuttles. Gun shuttles coming up. The mining shuttles have gun sidearms. So they're able actually to contribute later on, eating some shots. Eating some of that rail fire, keeping it off of more important targets, although it might be all the rails have to fire at right now. And also dealing decent damage to the support sprinters. The voxels, which is important. You take out the support sprinters, those voxels are in huge trouble. That jamming's highly significant. It's not helping that much with the multiple angles of attack Gamma's having to deal with. Yeah, Anus headed over to Echo and Alpha. They might have noticed that there's a minefield, and so they're all kind of looping back around to fight over Charlie, but that means they've given up that Echo push, and there's nothing on Echo other than the mines. So, and I don't think Anus has any good mine clearing vessels. Something I've found that's really helpful, actually, is like 2 or 3 S3 AMMs. Like if you bring an S3H backpack or an S3 backpack, you bring a couple of like high burn, medium-sized warhead blast frag AMMs, and you keep them on manual fire. You don't let them auto fire at anything, and you dump them into minefields, and they will just clear mines like nobody's business. Which might be something people are gonna need to start doing against Internet Explorer. He's going crazy with these mines. And it's effective. It's forcing the ANS away from Echo and Alpha. They're pretty much having to give it up to go after this Charlie fight, and they have a horrible angle for the Charlie fight. And are able to pretty effectively get a lot of fire down the field, and do so from a relatively safe position. While the Voxels are too busy shooting at the shuttles to keep them from getting in a instant kill position, as shuttles like to do. Yeah, speaking of, there's that flank from an Ares. Gamma getting rocketed. Oh boy. It's a dead voxel. It's another dead voxel. I mean, they're not dead, but yeah, this is not going to be in any useful shape ever again. Second one might be able to get into a place that could recover halfway decently, but I don't think so. Voxels tend not to have a lot of restores on them. Just 2, and then 2 more from a large that is downed. The guns can come up, and the 250s, yeah, these are having to back up, and they're backing up into the 250 bulkers. And 250 bulkers will be able to finish these off very effectively. Incredible teamwork out of the OSP. And Anus, again, just struggle busting to get the right angle, get the right attack line. Because they set up for... So what has happened the past few games? ANS side, oh, and Vrin's about to die. Bye, Vrin. Is that they've set up to attack one side, and then the OSP kind of forces them to attack the other side instead. Well, force, I guess, is a bit of a strong word. They could have just chosen, and I think the correct move would have been to just sacrifice Gamma and Charlie and say, alright, you have to leave or you're just gonna die, and we need to go after Alpha and Echo. These railguns getting attacked by rocket shuttles. One of the destroyers taking a lot of damage. But the other one's mostly in good shape. It's part of the game, Gamma. And OSP gonna cap all the points. Iris on, or Internet Explorer actually, on Delta as well. ANS and their small handful of big ships just sort of trapped above Alpha. They don't have really anywhere to go. They got a minefield on one side, which they could technically go after and clear, since there's nothing over there supporting it. Nothing to counterfire them, and then the entire OSP fleet on the other side. Trapped pretty effectively between a rock and a hard place. Oh, if you zoom out far enough, the VLS-1 disappears on the Solomon backpack. Look at that. It's gone. Masterful play by the OSP. And this is how you use mines, by the way, for this episode in particular, because that's all you folks out there who say mines are awful and useless. No, they very much aren't. Mines haven't gotten any kills this game, and they probably won't get any kills this game, but they allow the OSP to just leave half the map unguarded and to fight on the other half of the map. And say that, well, you can either fight me in a disadvantageous way, or you can take the time to clear the minefields. And I hate to say it, but I think taking the time to clear the minefields is the better play here. ANS has been unwilling to do that and has been wanting to fight. Because those mines are highly limited. You clear out those minefields and they're just gone. They're gone forever. But the longer they stay there, the longer they deny presence and zoning power. Man, okay, this is some horse shit right here. This one Reigns is getting shot by mass drivers and only its drive and reactor are taking damage. Mazzer! Blanky gets down as well, so no, never mind, it's all balanced. Man, even Charlie getting mined off. OSP is so many mines. Oh, man. And the ANS just doesn't have the potential to clear it. They just don't have that. You don't see PD firing at AMMs very often. AMMs coming out to shoot at missiles just coming out of the tube from a friend, but his own PD defending his missiles from anti-missile missiles. That is a new one, to be sure. Oh, God. Alright, so never hit tab. Lesson learned. Instant visual vomit. 250s and mass drivers getting shape on the Axford and just dumping lots of damage. Man, a lot of deflections from the bow tanking. Look at it go! Very cool to see. Very cool to see. Highly effective bow tanking. And the low damage is going to mean that these are going to be able to be repaired highly effectively because the Axford does have the repair threshold buff. That's something I'm probably going to be reminding you about, dear viewer, because it's very easy to forget since that's such an odd and specific thing if you're not used to the testing branch. And eventually the main branch, that will be on the main branch. Someday, presumably. So I'm going to mention it. I'm also mentioning it to remind myself, because if I don't think about it constantly, I'm going to forget, because it's not like written down anywhere on the Spectator UI that this has repair advantage. And I don't fly Axfords that much. It's going to have to be something I remind myself of regularly. Keeping it a cover, taking a little bit of 250 fire in the flank, but it's not horrible. This is highly recoverable damage. I just think ANS's position is awful, and at a point where they can't recover, because they're splitting up. This is what's happening here. They're splitting up to get on caps, but that splitting up makes their PD net too weak to deal with the minefields. And they don't have a concentration of 250 RPF or Big Daddy AoE AMMs to cut through these minefields very effectively. Oh, the mine's coming after Basil here. PD probably going to be able to handle it. Ooh, that one got a little closer than I'd like. Yeah, Pink Solomon, very slightly browner. Friend sitting on Delta, but 450s against shuttles just ain't it. I don't know, these 450s aren't punching through. I knew 450s wouldn't punch through tugs if you hit them in the right angle, but not punch through shuttles? How about that? That's pretty cool. Today I learned. Still getting a lot of punch-throughs, but not only punch-throughs. Man, that shuttle eating a ton of damage for its trouble. Pyro carefully moving on to Echo, but it's just a handful of unbuffed Mark 64s. This ain't gonna cut it, Chief. Not for this minefield. She's gonna struggle to get on that before the end of the game, since Anus has been 5 capped by the OSP and are down 600 points. Yeah, I think Ketabor and Rymark might be earning the Throne Keeper this time around. I don't know, I usually try to avoid doing awards and things in test branch, since we are trying to test things and do weird. We usually bring weird stuff. Makes we do weird stuff anyways. Something I'll have to think about. Yeah, ANS complete strategic failure. Didn't bring any small ships. Didn't bring enough small ships. Brought a lot of support ships. So I had one single capping vessel, which is unacceptable in a stack versus stack environment. Game ended a while ago, by the way, as you can tell by the score. I've just been enjoying watching how the players kind of handle this situation. Particularly the Axford. Seeing how beefy this thing is, and it's pretty beefy. Certainly eating more fire than it would on main, and I'm not sure if that's just because Vren's a really good Axford guy, or if like the repairability is doing that much, or if there's a kind of a psychological component that you understand that, well, if you play the Axford a little safer, it'll last a lot longer because it can repair from minor damage. Of course, now it's getting hit in the flank by 250s and plasma, and it's just done. Rank dips, Basil dips. Pyro gonna manage to capture Echo, actually. And Ren captured Delta for a short time. Pyro might actually not be able to capture Echo. No, this thing doesn't have any guns on it, so it can't cap. Okay, this is gonna be an interesting post-lobby environment.
Some games are games, and some games are tragedies.
Yeah. Oh no, some mine's getting pulled and fired up at the last second. Bonk. Alright, just refusing to surrender. Battle over.
Sorry, are you recording, Dar?
Yep.
Never mind, then I will not say anything until, because just...
That's what we do around these parts. Basils, okay. Alright, so ANS team, what do we learn?
That was just shells are a pain in the ass.
No. Wrong lesson. Try again.
Bring.
What? Oi, bugger off, guard. It was I mean, to be fair, I could have. I don't know actually. I was. God,
So the lesson is, you have to have more than one cap ship in a stack versus stack environment. In fact, it's highly encouraged that you have an entire cap fleet. The USP had
That
one,
is,
and that's why they were
but
able to have lots of
one. They had
presence.
two.
They did have two.
Looks like two shuttle fleets
Or-
and
But
two and a
Go
half
pirate.
shuttle fleets almost.
I want to have fun though.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that was annoying. Okay, no wonder, but also like, wow.
That was a lot of mines.
Yep. Mind
I,
gaming.
watching Christ, that was annoying.
Mine gaming.
How the heck is it? Actually, I guess you guys just go anti.
You guys really needed a blob to deal with that.
Yeah, you needed a freak blob to do that. I mean, there's like,
No.
holy crap.
Not a
Probably a
freight
freight blob.
but you needed something. You needed more ships.
Well,
Yeah, wow.
They had the CLs, but you took them out like immediately.
You took them out
Yeah.
immediately, so
Yeah,
we
that's
had
not-
nothing else to do with it.
That's not a lot of ships, though. Especially Gamma's voxel build in particular. It's designed to operate as a single unit. So it's multiple ships, but it sticks together. They needed map presence, and you get map presence with small ships. And that's...
Yeah,
They
probably.
maybe.
But it's like,
Yeah.
ooh.
I mean, the game could have. Sorry.
So like, can a solo sprinter really compete with a rocket shuttle?
No.
Yes,
No.
asterisk.
Asterisk. Asterisk.
It's asterisk.
No. It's asterisk, but really no.
So
It's
I see.
easier for the shuttle.
can
It's
one
easy-
sprinter...
it's easier for like, I have done it, right? But, like, it's not reliable. Like, basically, S1s offensively are a real counter, and RPF, if both of you have bad tracks, is also real, right?
So even hypothetically, let's say I just brought like, I don't know, 10 gun sprinters. Like I just can I compete with the rocket shuttles like that? I don't know.
Yes.
You tell me.
So
Okay.
one sprinter cannot fight one rocket shuttle. 3 sprinters can fight 3 rocket shuttles because of the critical massing of guns and RPF and defenders makes it to where they can deal with the rockets and deal with the shuttles in a pretty quick manner. That's why
see.
on my cat fleet I have 2 and sometimes 3 packs of 3 sprinters apiece.
Just curious, were there changes made to mines, or you guys just want to play with them?
No, there were no changes made to mines.
Changes.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Well, like, for its worth, the reason I started using mines is because, like, BBs became harder to counter, but mines still counter them.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, true.
I was
Yeah.
using mines because I saw Rymark using mines like I don't know, a few days ago. I'm like, oh, I want to do that, and then just mimicked what he did.
Oh. Yeah, I see what you're saying, Dark, but I don't want to play a cap fleet. I want to.
Okay, well, that's fine.
Talk a teammate into playing a cat fleet.
You can choose not to play a cat fleet. That's perfectly justified. You just can't expect to have no one play a cat fleet and perform well.
It's
You
it's
can do that.
fine.
You
It's
can
fine.
play-
I don't think. You know what I think? I get it, Dark, but it's like,
For what it's worth,
Right.
if you're not playing a cap fleet, I do think, like, a good missile fleet with a focus upon smaller missiles for Alliance really does work well to shut down shuttles.
Like
S2Hs or S2s? What do you think, right, Mark?
Both.
like
both
there
work.
there comes a point where I'd rather just have fun and lose.
Sure.
Like
That
if I have to go that far to like win,
I got-
then
Yeah, I was annoyed because you shot.
I mean,
hundred sprinters shot shot like my S3Hs out of my freaking 2 with bastions, and I'm like, what?
I think those were my sprinters.
those were
Your
your. Yeah,
sprinters,
I
or
didn't, have,
whoever's-
I didn't have any shuttles on my.
Or
fleet.
someone
I was
shows
on the Alliance.
shot the bloody S3Hs out of my on my tube, and I'm like, what? Ugh.
I mean, like one part of the
I didn't
game
miss
is
too, so that
that
was annoying.
you do need to be capping. Like we played the cap game in Sensor Warfare in that game, and you
Oh
guys
yeah.
didn't.
Oh no,
It's
that's right.
just, you know,
Oh no, that's
it's
completely
the way
fair. I
it
was just like,
goes.
oh god dang it.
I mean,
Yeah.
literally,
Oh no,
all
you're
your
fair. You're
ships,
right.
all your ships were deathballed in a place that was like covering no points.
Yeah.
Under a rock. Under a rock is a good idea if you're like gonna be really aggressive and try catching a fleet off kilter, which you almost did with my revolver and mine layer. But what happened is then you guys weren't fast enough, and we kind of just ran away with the points.
That's fair. Oh god, I am so not used to rotating pillars. It's weird. I was completely disoriented, honestly. Like the rotating pillars just throwing me out so off. I was like, what?
Get rotated.
What are we going? I know it's rotating, and I know there's like the principle is just like staring at it. My brain was just refusing to compute.
If one of you had like a 10 sprinter swarm and you just played it as a single blob and cruised around murdering all the shuttles, and then split it off for caps later, like that probably would.
No, that 100%. Yeah, or like someone brought seal fleet.
I would even go so far as to say, if Gamma's fleet had been the one on the offense rather than defense, the CO fleet clears mines a lot faster than any of the 450 armed or railgun armed.
Gamma was having trouble though because basically there's so many contacts on screen. She was getting sensory disorientation.
I
There's
even
just so many mines
commented,
in contact. Yeah.
like they got hit from 6 different directions and shuttles at the same time.
Yeah, she couldn't I think she's so like disoriented. I think she just needed a break from computer even now. Like also so again that it happened like you know you get a bad game and sometimes you got somebody you fuck up on the fleet select so yeah that'll happen. Anyway.
One more?
I can do one more. Yep, no, I can do one more. This I'll be a little more considerate.
10 more.
I'll do one more and I'll be a little more strict about fleet select, I guess.
Another thing I will mention.
I mean, like that's what we just did that and we got wrecked.
Let other people talk. Fuck's sake.
Sorry, my bad.
I have noticed that spyglasses with what's the one that gives you better track detection but like less accuracy? Is that the ARR?
That's
ARR.
The ARR.
The
Putting
adaptives.
even one on a spyglass actually detects mines from a vastly further range than I expected.
Yeah.
It can be really useful.
The little boost it gives just makes the spyglass like insanely good. It boosts.
One of the frigates I've been really, really pleased with the performance of is just a couple of scouting frigates, except they mount a couple of 250 guns, they mount a bullseye, and they have a really accurate spyglass, like a really good at detecting spyglass. And you just can lock up mines and start going to town on them. You can also lock up shuttles and start going to town on them too. But if all else fails, it's still just a really good spyglass platform to see enemy ships. Really big fan of it.
Have we got a new game up yet?
Seems like host.
I can host if you want.
If people want to do fun things, I'm always fine with doing the grunt work of capper fleets.
I'm back. Sorry, I had to use the bathroom.
Crap, you gonna host?
Yeah, you can.
Please and thank you. I want to do a closer. Okay, so it's time to have a chat. Now that we're out of there and we're not going to get yelled at by people who... Look, Nebulous is a holistic experience, and it's very complicated. There are a lot of things, a lot of complicated things going on in old Neb. And people like to play different things. People love to play different things. All over the place. I mean, we got like 4 or 5 people on the Discord who play exclusively cat fleets. They just will not play anything else. That's what they like to do. And it's important. It's a big deal. And we got people like me who just, missiles, that's it. I will play cap game because I like to win sometimes if we have too many missile fleets. But at the end of the day, capping shit is a part of the game. And if you don't like capping shit, well... I don't know. I don't even know what to say. Because if you're going to play against people who are actually going to try to win, then you kind of need to try to win too. And obviously not everyone needs to play capping fleets, but you gotta have someone on your team has to play capping fleets. And I think it's the sort of thing, it's like a support role in any video game. It's something that somebody needs to have in their, that everyone, I should say, needs to have in their arsenal, is the ability to fight on caps with a group of small ships. You don't want all small ships, but a few small ships can be incredibly effective. Yeah, Ruffy, I imagine that's particularly brutal. Oh, good, it's already full. Particularly brutal for the well, we'll get into it later, I guess. For the you ANS capital players out there who just axe for battleship, axe for battleship, axe for battleship. Nothing else. Don't care. You're a part of the problem. You want to know why ANS keeps losing in the pub games? It's because you're not bringing cap fleets. It's not a balance issue. It's a you're literally not playing the game in an effective and efficient manner issue. That's the way it be. And it's not a verse OSP problem either. ANS for just ANS is the same way if someone actually whips out the sprinter fleet. Okay, I'm gonna step down off my soapbox now and wish everybody a very happy Thanksgiving. Yeah, it's not Thanksgiving at all. It's not even close. We're like 3-4 months away from that. But I'm gonna do it anyways because I don't follow the law. See you later, fuckers.